You're going to see kind of woven throughout this, which is the Chief Data Officer, which as far as I know is the first in any city in the United States. So one of the reasons for doing this actually is actually to kind of change the way decisions get made, or at least the inputs to decisions in City Hall, to kind of suffuse everything from the cabinet down to management and supervisors with a data-driven instinct. Not that
Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check!
I go to one of the clinics.
I go to one of the clinics.
That Rahm Emanuel is closing.
That Rahm Emanuel is closing.
Beverly Morgan Park Mental Health Clinic.
Beverly Morgan Park Mental Health Clinic
Is the reason I'm alive today.
is the reason I'm alive today.
Rahm's budget.
Rahm budget
Closes.
closes.
My clinic and 5 others.
My clinic and 5 others.
Rahm's budget.
Rahm's budget
Privatizes
privatizes
all neighborhood health centers.
all neighborhood health centers.
Rahm's budget
Rahm's budget
is balanced on the backs
is balanced on the backs
of poor and working people.
of poor and working people.
Rahm's budget will
Rahm's budget
will cost lives.
will cost lives,
But Rahm won't even show up
but Rahm won't even show up
to face those of us whose lives he's affected.
to face those of us whose lives he's affected.
Rahm is on the run
hey guys,
Rahm's on the run
because Rahm's budget
because Rahm's budget
millions of untouched tip
leaves millions of untouched tip
hey
funds.
guys, there are honor students here from UIC whose class time is today.
Close half our mental health clinics.
But Rahm's budget
But Rahm's budget
cuts taxes and corporations.
If
cuts taxes and corporations.
promise, we will let you speak.
Rahm's money
To police and arrest Occupy protesters.
to police and arrest Occupy protesters,
But can't find money
but can't find money
for basic health needs.
for basic health
I'm
needs.
giving you the first warning. We will
Rahm's
let you
money
to host the NATO
to host the NATO GA board
speak. Are you finished?
can't find money
but can't find money
To care for the poorest.
to care for the poorest.
I sat in front of his office.
I sat in front of his office.
Hey guys, if you do the courtesy of letting me finish for the students here, I'll do the courtesy of bringing your concerns back to City Hall.
Because our city belongs to the 99%,
Not your 1% friends.
not your 1% friends.
We tried to meet with Rahm
We have tried to meet with Rahm
since he was a candidate.
since he was a candidate. To warn him
That closing clinics
that closing clinics
will cost money and lives.
will cost money and lives.
And to urge him
And to urge him
to do the right thing.
to do the right thing.
When will your boss sit down?
When will you all sit down?
Face to face.
We would like to hear what you have to say, but it's now becoming incoherent.
Whose lives his budget may take.
I'll ask the police to clear from the protesters so we will be glad to listen to you. If you sit down, we will give you time.
Clinics under attack, what do we do? Stand up! Clinics under attack, what do we do? Don't touch me! What do we do? Stand up!
True criminals are Rahm Emanuel and his staff.
My apologies to the students here. The irony here is that so much of what we're doing with technology speaks to the mayor's desire for added accountability and transparency, which are sort of precisely the tools and methodologies that help in sort of intelligent
Manual is a tool.
help in intelligent protest. So the open data strategy in the city. Since the mayor took office, several hundred sets of data, basically the vital signs of the city, updated in near real time for basically anything you can think of that the city touches, transit, crime, these sorts of things, is being published and can be checked by the public. So, the first idea for this was that transparency helps build trust. You can see what's going on, how decisions are being made, how resources are being allocated. The other reason for doing this is a sense of accountability. So if you go to cityofchicago.org/performance, you can see updated every Friday how the various departments in the city that interact with residents, so CDOT filling potholes or streets and sand clearing trash, you can see how they're doing, how many days it's taking on average to do that sort of thing. So this is accountability, building a better workforce. But what's really interesting to us, I think where the city of Chicago is actually taking a lead in other cities, is analysis. Taking these large sets of data and analyzing them for insight. What are the factors that lead to blight? What are the early warning signs, very, very early warning signs in a neighborhood that's susceptible to foreclosure? These are the kinds of things that are allowing us to model possible outcomes and help us, put together intervention strategies. And the last one, which not many people talk about actually, but you probably have examples of it if you own smartphones, is that publishing this data openly encourages people to build things on top of it. So any transit application, any weather application you have sits on top of the open data service that is the National Weather Service. It's a small part, but it is a kind of economic development driver, publishing open data. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, you can take a look at everything that's there at data.cityofchicago.org. There really are some very interesting things. Nightly updated restaurant inspections, car towing and relocation, which will become important as we move into the snow season. The most granular and most amount of crime data of any city in the United States, 10 years going backwards, updated nightly. These are very interesting. I mean, obviously, when we publish some of these things, we think, wow, there's a couple PhDs embedded in this. But it's also incumbent on us to build the tools that make this useful for people who are not statisticians, maybe for honors poli-sci students, but your average Chicagoan needs tools like maps, like apps, to make sense of this data, and that's what we're working on now. Here's an example.
Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! We are UIC and Chicago students and workers! We are Chicago students and workers! We are disgusted by how Emanuel...
Go or you'll be arrested.
We are disgusted by how Rahm Emanuel... 1% budget!
You, sir,
Destroying the city!
Freedom of Information Act, which is a very good thing. But fulfilling the actual requests, thousands of which come into the city every year, takes time and costs money. It's a very good thing. But in pursuing an open data strategy, you ask yourself, shouldn't most of this stuff live online? Stuff that doesn't have personal identifiable information?